Meaza Mohammed was arrested 3 times within a span of 1 year, all for doing her job. The founder and chief editor of the independent YouTube news channel Roha TV endured harassment and intimidation, sometimes without appearing in court. But despite it all, Maeza says she continues to use her platform to tell the stories of women and children who were caught in the crossfire of the country's civil war, enduring rape and other forms of violence.
A very, very large number of women and children were war victims like the rest of the society in the area. But on top of that, they were vulnerable to sexual violence. Women were retaliated against for a defeat in the war. Because of that, I found a lot of women raped, exposed to HIV and other sexually transmitted diseases. So I put all my focus and thought on helping them, not only for the world to hear them, but also to help them get the medical and psychological support they need.
Press freedom in Ethiopia drastically declined during Ethiopia's war between the federal government and the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front. Nearly all media outlets were denied access to areas where there was conflict, and dozens of journalists covering the war faced harassment and arrest. As the war spilled into neighboring Amhara and Afar regions, Maeza saw how the war impacted women and children. She traveled to parts of the Amhara and Afar regions and spoke to women who said they were attacked by Tigrayan forces.
Ethiopian media deteriorated all at once. Government started shutting down the media. Even YouTube channels are controlled by the broadcast authority. Whenever something happens, the internet shut down and journalists are arrested. We know that if something happens in the country, we could be arrested, we could be prosecuted, or could vanish. Sometimes prison becomes a luxury.
Maeza is also being recognized for using her YouTube channel to highlight the abduction of Amhara students from Dambidolo University in Western Oromia region. The students were taken in November 2019 and have been missing ever since, according to the advocacy group Amnesty International. In Ethiopia, social media platforms have been used as a battleground as people on both sides of the war have hurled insults at each other. But in a country with shrinking media freedom, Maeza says it's also a place where most Ethiopians turn to for information.
Ethiopia has been volatile in the last 5 years. People die and get displaced for all sorts of reasons, including religion, history, and language. How a community in this situation uses social media could be difficult. But the solution is not shutting down the internet. This can only be fixed by creating social awareness.
Maeza says the award has given her a wider platform to highlight the violence, abuse, and torture women endured during the war. She vows to continue to use her media platform to call for accountability and justice. For VOA News, Simegnish Yekoye, Washington, D.C.